Metallica quite possibly could be the most well-known metal band in the world, but surprisingly have managed to keep their skeletons hidden well in their closets, until now. When you think of metal, you think of Metallica. I mean, it is literally in their name. Metallica are probably the most successful metal band to exist. The band have released 10 studio albums, have won 9 Grammy Awards, and have sold over 120 million albums worldwide, making Metallica one of the most commercially successful bands of all time. The most unexpected part of this success, with the Zoomer generation being at the forefront of current trends, the band are making a resurgence following a feature in Stranger Things 4, with Master of Puppets being played by Eddie. With the band being formed in 1981, the Zoomer generation thought Metallica were a new band, and when educated otherwise, began researching the band, and if we know one thing the Zoomers are good at, it's using the internet. With this newfound resurgence came more eyes, and with more eyes comes more scrutiny. Many of us grew up with Metallica, and with the band being around for so long, a lot of their controversial past was long forgotten about until now. These are the controversies of Metallica.
You're an evil fuck.
Metallica is a heavy metal band that was first formed in 1981. The band was formed by James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich. Remember these names, as these are going to be key figures throughout this video. The current band lineup consists of James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, guitarist Kirk Hammett, and bassist Robert Trujillo.
The first controversy starts with the past band members of the band and the strange circumstances behind the death of one of their previous members.
Mr. Cliff Burton, alright.
Cliff Burton previously played the bass for Metallica and was actually directly recruited by the founding members Hetfield and Ulrich. Burton was playing in a band called Trauma. Hetfield and Ulrich were blown away by Burton's use of the foot pedal while playing bass and immediately asked him to join the band. Burton initially refused, but they were persistent and eventually Burton gave in. Fast forward to September the 27th, 1996. The band was starting the European leg of their Damage Inc. tour. The band were in high spirits following the success of their sold-out tour, and a joke was made to draw cards to see which bunks the band members would have in their tour bus. The band ultimately decided this was the fairest way to assign the bunks, so the members drew cards. Burton won and ultimately chose to sleep in Kirk Hammett's bunk. A simple decision such as that turned into the biggest mistake of Burton's life. With the bunks assigned, the tour bus started making its way through Sweden when suddenly the bus driver lost control and skidded, causing the bus to overturn several times. All of the band members and the bus driver were fine, apart from Burton, who ended up pinned under the bus. Hetfield recalls, "I saw the bus lying right on top of him. I saw his legs sticking out. I freaked. The bus driver was trying to yank the blanket from underneath the Burton to use for other people. I went, don't fucking do that. I already wanted to kill the bus driver. I don't know if he was drunk or if he hit some ice. All I knew was he was driving and Cliff wasn't alive anymore." It is reported that a crane was used to lift the bus from Burton, but the crane slipped and crashed back down on top of Burton a second time. Witnesses have made differing claims as to whether it was the initial impact or the crane falling ultimately causing Burton's death. The bus driver was investigated by the police, and despite multiple reports of there being no black ice on the roads from investigators, it deemed the driver was at no fault and no charges were brought against him. To this day, the cause of the crash remains unknown.
As previously mentioned, following the hype of Metallica's Master of Puppets being showcased in a key moment in Stranger Things 4, this led to a much younger audience discovering Metallica and in turn unearthing some of the previous controversial moments of the band's past. A current issue facing the band is that many of the younger generations believe that the band is racist following previous images and video clips being dug out from the past. The first problematic image is of Hetfield and Ulrich, both shown to be doing what looks like a Nazi salute. Whilst there is lack of context to the image, it is obvious why many fans are upset that this image has surfaced. This was then followed by the resurfacing of footage in which former bassist Jason Newsted is shown to be, in what many people are assuming, marching around on stage forming the Nazi salute. There were also some strong allegations from previous tour mates Guns N' Roses, in which the frontman Axl Rose labelled Hetfield as a racist and stated that Hetfield was not happy to be sharing with, in his own words, an N-word, referring to Ice-T. It should be noted that this allegation is unconfirmed, and there also may be some bias, as there is lots of bad blood between Rose and Hetfield. Along with this, Rose himself has a very shady past and even has a song, One in a Million, that contains the N-word in its lyrics. Whilst the band have come under a lot of fire recently for the previously mentioned, to their credit they did release a statement following the recent influx of new supporters, saying, "Everyone is welcome in the Metallica family. Whether you've been a fan for 40 hours or 40 years, we all share a bond through music."
Another of the band's controversies is surrounding the previous frontman of Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. Many know the circumstances around Kurt Cobain's death, but for those who don't, Cobain unfortunately took his own life by shooting himself. Metallica were actually fans of Nirvana and reached out to the band numerous times in an attempt to get them to join them on their tour. Cobain declined due to Guns N' Roses being on tour with Metallica at the time and stated he did not like what the band represented. A mere 4 days after Cobain's unfortunate death, Metallica was seen on stage to be mocking the death of Cobain and also the future of the band as seen in the following clip.
What color was Kurt Cobain's eyes? Blue! One blue this way, one blue that way! Fucking terrible, isn't it?
Now I, for one, do understand and appreciate dark humour, but with the timing and the reach that the band had at the time, it is safe to say at a minimum it was poor taste from the band and that it may be a result of resentment from Nirvana refusing to join them on tour.
Now, stay with me on this one. This may seem like a very strange statement, but when you think of music used to torture prisoners into giving up vital information, you'd surely think of the likes of Rebecca Black's Friday classic, right? Wrong. Reports surfaced that in Guantanamo Bay and also at several detention camps on the border of Iraq and Syria, the song of choice to torture prisoners was, in fact, Metallica's Enter Sandman, which was repeatedly blasted over the speakers to try and force submission from the prisoners. Whilst the band initially joked about this, with Hetfield saying, "We've been punishing our family with this music forever," once the band realised the severity of the situation, they requested the military to stop using their music for such forceful tactics, which was confirmed by an ex-Navy SEAL, Robert O'Neill.
With the internet age and cancel culture going hand in hand, it seems that more bands from the past are heavily being scrutinised for the things many fans have forgotten about. Is this a good thing for the future? Can we cancel the bands for their past actions, or should we accept that bands and people can change? Make sure you subscribe for more documentaries.